The boarded-up home has become a symbol of the foreclosure crisis, adding to neighborhood blight and depressing property values. But real estate developer Howard Wedren believes he has a solution to the problem, a board-up system that covers windows with a clear, tough plastic. He spent nearly 3 years developing his product, pitching it to customers, hiring a manufacturer to make it, and lining up financing for his Chicago startup, SecureView.
There's been a tremendous amount of vacant property across the country, and most of those properties to date have been boarded up using plywood or steel. When the plywood and steel go up, immediately the community knows that there's a vacant property, so that attracts squatters, it attracts additional people to come in and steal the copper, plumbing, whatever is of value within these properties. Ours really puts a stop to that, so we think we're really the solution to blight. Our product is clear. So when it's installed, you can no longer tell that the property is vacant or abandoned. The police and fire love it. They can actually see into a property. They can actually walk up with a flashlight if it's nighttime, see what's happening in the property, and then make an educated decision before walking into what could be a very dangerous situation.
So how did you come up with this idea?
Happened to be running with a friend of mine who renovates churches, and started talking about the board-up business and came up with the idea of using a form of polycarbonate, which they'll use in churches in replace of stained glass. So took the idea, mocked it up, went out and installed it, then hired an engineer to actually design it, put it to AutoCAD, and go out and file for a patent.
Where are you now, and what still needs to be done to get your business off the ground?
Since August of last year, we have gone out and piloted our product with almost every major lender across the United States, including the GSEs, which are the government-sponsored entities like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, HUD. And what we've done is given the product to these groups and said, let us install it on your properties, whether it's single-family, multifamily, or commercial. You tell us if you like it.
How do you address questions about the price of your product and the fact that it is more expensive for people who are very focused on the cost issue? What do you tell them?
That's actually very easy. I mean, if you go back, first of all, steel is far more expensive than our product. Plywood is inexpensive, it's readily available, but our product doesn't break down over time like plywood does. Plywood molds, it warps, it has to be replaced multiple times, and depending on where you are across the country in the municipality, you might not be able to use plywood, or you can only have it up for a very limited amount of time. Ours essentially can be installed and can stay on the property in perpetuity. It doesn't break down quickly over time.
Foreclosures are obviously still at a very high point as we kind of work through this housing crisis, but sooner or later they're going to taper off and we're going to see the number of vacant properties decline. What does that mean for a business like yours that is designed to secure these homes that are vacant and foreclosed?
We're far from the foreclosure crisis being over. I think there's a lot of shadow inventory that's still out there. The average time to get through the courts on a foreclosure is up to 60 months, 30 to 60 months. If you look at Chicago alone, there's currently over 19,000 vacant properties in the city of Chicago alone. And so we also believe we have a niche, in the commercial side, public housing, shuttered schools. So we have a very broad audience outside of just single-family residential.
Well, thanks, Howard, for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.